好，那各位朋友，大家好，大家晚安。欢迎大家今天来参加我们这一场2022年 European Study Talk 留学欧洲说明会。那这个说明会是由欧洲在台官方单位联合举办。那从2022年的9月一直要进行到2023年的2月，整个系列活动呢，我们将邀请到了超过50多所的欧洲知名的高等教育学院，来进行留学欧洲线上说明会。那有德国、英国、法国、比利时、荷兰、瑞典、瑞士、意大利等专业的这个顶尖欧洲大学将接力的为台湾学生您的留学欧洲计划来指点迷津。那除了商管学院、资讯学院，更有著名的理工、设计、观光、医学科系等这个知名的院校都有加入，将提供你最新的教育制度、申请流程、奖学金，以及还有毕业后在当地工作或创业的这个最新的资讯。你一定可以收集到您所需要的资讯，跟听到学长姐的经验分享在都要来帮助你的出国留学申请做准备。那今晚留学欧洲部署未来的说明会，我们将要透过法国知名的商学院的介绍，来强化你的未来专业以及人脉。校代还会解说我们国际学生的留学以及职涯之路。Tonight, 7 o'clock, we are very happy to have Washington from the HEC Paris, 法国巴黎高等商业研究学院。那这个是法国的前5大商学院之一，也是政经界的摇篮，前IMF 总裁以及法国的前总理都是这个校的知名校友。那这所传说中的法国第一骄傲学府 HEC Paris， 不管是常年来在各项的指标上面都是大学的排名中，以及在全欧洲甚至在全球排名数1数2。国际化的程度也非常的高。那整所学校包含了这个硕士 MBA， 共有超过60%都是国际学生。那我们赶紧来听学校校代这个知名的学校能够如何的来帮助你部署你自己的未来，以及你该如何准备以及强化你的专业跟人脉。那当然还要知道我们国际学生的留学跟职涯的之路。那紧接着后面7点50分将由法国 ESSCA 昂勒高等商学院，也是法国历史最悠久的商学院之一。那这个学校全世界仅1%的商学院的殊荣都在这个学校有拿到这个国际的认证。全球有8个校区，那也有提供全英文授课的课程。那待会之后我相信希望大家都能够留下来，留到最后来听我们后面的这个说明会。那待会在这个说明会的当中，如果您有任何的问题，或是想要问校代的问题，都请你将你的问题打在这个 Q&A 的栏位中，中英文都可以。我们在最后的Q&A 的时段里面会来进行。好，那时间差不多了，我们就 Let's welcome Washington from the HEC Paris 法国巴黎高商学院。So over to you, Washington.
Thank you very much for this introduction, Diane, and hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here today with you. So just to start with, I'm going to introduce myself. So I'm Wasim, recruitment manager for HEC Paris Master's programs in Taiwan. So I'm actually based in Paris. My job as a recruitment manager is to accompany candidates up until the moment they submit their application, make sure they fully understand what is expected in the application process, but also what the jury looks at in a profile. So in addition to this presentation, I'm obviously going to give you my contact details so that you can get back to me and ask any questions you want. So just to start with HEC Paris, maybe some of you know the school already. It's a very old school. It was founded in 1881, so even before the Eiffel Tower. We offer a wide range of programs. As you can see here in the graph on the top left, these are the pre-experienced master's programs. This is what I'm going to talk about today. In order to be eligible for these programs, you need to have at least a bachelor degree and have less than 3 years of work experience by the time you start the program. For those who have more than 3 years of work experience, we also have MBA programs, as you can see. So obviously, I'm not going to talk about the MBA programs today, but I'll be happy to give you the details and contact details of my colleagues from the MBA if you're interested in contacting them. We also have executive programs for those who have even more work experience, PhD programs, and summer school programs for those who are interested in having a first taste of HEC Paris before committing to a full-time program. So the school itself, as you can see, we have these rankings here on the screen. I'm not going to name them one by one because I think they speak for themselves, but just one that I really want to talk about is the number 3 there. We are actually the 3rd most represented school among top executives. That's the ALMA index that says it. So just after Harvard and Stanford. And that goes together with the amazing alumni network that we have, 70,000 people in 135 countries today. So a very, very active and connected alumni network that you are already able to leverage now when applying because we always recommend candidates to contact them before the application. Today at HEC Paris is 4,500 students of 150 nationalities, which means that 70% of our students are internationals. That's the first aspect and added value of the school that is very important, is the international aspect, obviously, and you can see it on campus and in every programs you apply for. We also have many international partners, most of them being universities with whom we have double degrees, dual degrees that you can do, combining a program at HEC Paris and a program in the partner school, also corporate partners, and 138 full-time professors. Now around 50% of them, 60% of them, sorry, are internationals as well. So there's the network, there's the international aspect, but also the professionalizing aspect. At HEC Paris, we expect students expect from us to grow the network inside the program. Throughout any of the programs, you will get to work on real-life case studies and company projects. I mentioned the corporate partners earlier. Note that actually 50% of the professors or professionals who come to teach at HEC. So the professionalizing aspect is very important in the program, in addition to the courses and everything that is related to the courses, the exams and the thesis, etc. Also, the Career Center is very active, very involved in the journey of the student because they organize many recruitment events. We had the finance fair, for example, 2 weeks ago, also the consulting fair last week, and also the HEC, the Carrefour HEC. This is a huge recruiting event that we have on campus. So companies come to the campus and meet with our students. And also a strong campus social life that is very important because students are very committed also in many clubs and associations to give students the opportunity to connect and grow their network during their time on campus. So earlier I said that we are going to talk about the pre-experience program. So the first one, the flagship program that we have at HEC, is the Master in Management. This program is a 2-year program. The first year is a generalist year, and then the second year is a specialization phase. In between, you have an optional gap year that actually most of the students choose to do because it's the opportunity to gain experience and do 2 times 6 months of internship, for example. So if you do the gap year, that's together a 3-year master program. So once again, to be eligible for this, you need to have at least a bachelor degree, or you can start your application if you're currently in your final year of bachelor, and have less than 3 years of work experience by the time you start the program. We also have many dual degrees program that you can apply for directly. So these are the ones that you can apply for directly, but there are many other double degrees that you can have in your second year of Master in Management. So basically, either you apply straight, for example, to the dual degree with Yale University, or you decide to apply for a Master in Management, and later on you choose to do your second year in a partner university. So those are the ones you can apply for directly. And there are two here that I would like to mention in partnership with École Polytechnique, a very important engineering school in France, Entrepreneurs and Data Science for Business. So the exception is Data Science for Business because this one is a 2-year program and Entrepreneur is a 1-year program. So this is in partnership with an engineering school and very, very interesting programs. Finally, the specialized masters, as you can see, these are 1-year programs that you can do. And if you look at the title of these programs, you will see that there are also majors of the Master in Management. So just like the double degrees, you can either apply straight for a specialized master or decide to apply for the Master in Management and then specialize in one of these, international finance, marketing, etc., etc. As you can see as well, all of these programs are in English, except 2 of them for those who are interested in these topics and who speak French. But otherwise, all the programs at HEC are in English. So this is a lot of information for the program, so I really invite you to basically look at the website because you will find all of this information clearly there, and you can also contact me and we can have a conversation also about your choice of program. So I wanted to focus on the Master in Management and give you a few more details about that. That will give you an overview basically of what we have at HEC. So here you have the class profiles. We talked about the international aspect, and here I think it's pretty clear, 250 international students over 56 nationalities. And you can see here the diversity of backgrounds as well. Many students obviously come from business management backgrounds, but we also have many engineers, economics, social sciences, humanities, etc., etc. So this diversity is very important for the program, but it gives you the very important information is that all backgrounds are eligible for our program. So you really want to go for the application no matter your background, and we are obviously here to also accompany and guide you in your choice. You also have an indication of where the students come from. We have here the average age because, as I said, this is a pre-experience program. So this is basically the class profile of our Master in Management. Here you have the first year of the Master in Management. As you can see, you have core courses and elective courses. So the core courses is basically a refresher phase that's common for all the students. And then you have some elective courses. So just some examples of them that help you already shape your program in your first year. Now, once again, alongside these courses, you always have these activities and meetings with alumni conferences that you can take part in are very important and important part of the program itself. Again, the second year, you have the option of doing a major on campus. So as you can see here, you have a lot of on-campus specializations, but also international double degrees that you can do with some of our partners. So some examples that we gave here on this slide. Now, what happens next? So basically, we talked about the ranking earlier. What is very important to know is that the placement rate after a Master in Management, so that cover all the specialization, are very, very good. 99% of our graduates who find a job 3 months after graduation. 40% of our graduates work outside of their home country, and once again, in a variety of sectors and a variety of regions. As well. You have an indication here of the average starting salary and salary after 3 years, and also entrepreneurship that is a very important part at HEC Paris, because in every specialization that you get to do, you will have at least a focus on entrepreneurship. I'm thinking of marketing specialization or sustainability specialization as well, with a strong link with the startup ecosystem in France and in Europe. Actually, 10 unicorns were established by HEC graduates. This is actually information that we've had recently, and it shows actually the importance of entrepreneurship in our school. Also an indication here of the different sectors. So you will have consulting, financial services that will be very important, especially in the UK and also in the EU, but also technology, non-profit, etc., etc. I'm thinking about retail as well for specializations like marketing. We have great opportunities, for example, in Paris for those who want to work in luxury, but also in cosmetics, etc., etc. So the specialized masters, so we covered that already. What is important to know, because you might wonder what is the best choice if I should apply for a master in management and then specialize, or apply straight for a one-year specialized master. Actually, the difference is mostly first what you expect for a master program, because you might not want to do 2 or 3 years. You just maybe want to do 1 year, but it's also a program that will give you a direct boost and a direct access to the job market, meaning that from day one, you will be kind of applying for jobs already, and it's very professionalizing from day one. So here you have the list again of specialized masters, and once again, the only exception is the data science for business that is in 2 years, the first year at Polytechnic and the second year at HEC. So once again, all of these specialized masters are majors of the Master in Management, and they will include core courses as well, elective courses, study trip, company project, case studies, and a thesis as well that you will need to work on, as well as a certificate that is included at the end of the specialized masters, a certificate that will take place at the end in around May, June, and that's a 6 to 8 weeks project that you will be doing with our partner companies such as Kering, LVMH, AXA, etc., etc. So we talked about the programs, we talked about, all of these aspects are very important, professionalizing aspect, international aspect, and also the network that is super important. But obviously, coming to HEC is also a life experience. Here I've put some pictures of our campus. So the campus itself is located right outside Paris, actually between Paris and Versailles. This is an American-style campus with accommodation, and actually all international students are guaranteed accommodation on campus. So it's a great way to not only, be with other students from all around the world, but also to participate in all the activities that are offered on campus. So here I wanted to mention the 130 plus students associations that we have. They can be cultural, professional, but also sports. That is at the very heart of HEC Paris, and this is an important aspect to show the involvement of our students. This is something that the jury definitely looks at in a profile. So when you apply, we always invite you to really put forward your activities outside of the university, but also your interests, and to show also your motivation and involvement before you apply. So on campus, I said on campus accommodation and all the facilities are there for our students. So it's some sort of village that we have here on campus. Now, to talk about the application process, after we talked about the program, so I will describe how it works and also give you a few tips, so and give you my contact details at the end, and I will also leave some more time for the Q&A, because I think it's very interesting to also have a direct chat with you guys. So now that you've attended this presentation, I really invite you to go and explore the different programs that we have, or the different careers opportunities that we have. So it's very important to, to make the right choice, and also to contact us if you have any questions. So when we apply, we actually put forward a profile. In this profile, we will really value the different aspects that are important for the jury. So we look obviously at the grades, at which university you come from. We look at your management test, so we will talk about that later on. But we also look at your cross-cultural sensitivity. I said 150 nationalities, so when you will be on campus, working on company projects, so your basically fellow students will be from different countries, from America, from Europe, from Africa, etc. So it's very important to be able to work in an international environment. Your experience as well, so that includes all of the internships. So once again, this is our pre-experienced master's program, so we do not expect students to have had extensive work experience, but it's always appreciated if you have some, to put them on your CV. All of your extracurricular activities, so that include any participation in clubs, associations, societies, and also whatever activity that you do also outside of uni, volunteering, for example, that also is a very interesting thing, and your motivation that you will be able to show in your essay questions in the application, but also during the interview. So all of these points are very important. All of these aspects are very important. There is no aspect that is more important than another one. So we will work on basically putting that forward. And you can also naturally compensate an aspect by another one. If you tell me, for example, Wasim, I feel that my grades are lower than expected for that semester. So, well, you can compensate with a good GMAT test, for example, or if you show extensive work experience. So basically, I really wanted to insist on that aspect of the profile, that all of these things are very important. The application process itself is a 4-step process. So everywhere on the website, you will see a button apply. So you're able on the website to create your applicants portal, in which you will be asked to submit a certain number of documents that I'm going to list here. So we will ask for your degree certificate or current enrollment certificate if you're still studying in your university. We will ask all of your transcripts, if possible with GPA, a one-page CV. So for the CV, we're always happy to, give you an evaluation and to help you if you have any doubts. So if you're interested in applying, you can start the conversation by sending me your CV if you want. We will ask you for a management test. So that can be GMAT or GRE. So TAJMAT is a French test, but GMAT or GRE are both in English. So the choice, I'm anticipating this question, but the choice is really up to you. The one that we receive the most is the GMAT, but you're welcome to submit the GRE. We have no preference in terms of tests. So you obviously will have to prepare this test on your side, and usually we evaluate 2 months of preparation. That can be less, that can be more. It's really up to you, and have the score ready when you submit your application. We will also ask you for an English test. So we do accept TOEFL, TOEIC, IELTS, and Cambridge. So these 4 tests are accepted, and same here, you will need to have your score ready when you submit your application. You can be exempt for taking the test, from submitting the test in 2 situations. If you hold a nationality from an English-speaking country, so in that case, you will just need to upload the copy of your passport, or if your most recent degree was entirely taught in English. So it has to be entirely taught in English with a proof or a letter from your university. So in these 2 cases, you can be exempt from taking the test. You we'll also have essay questions in your applicant's portal. So I really invite you, if you're interested in applying, to already create your applicant's portal to get familiar with these questions. So these are 3 questions for the Master in Management, and it varies depending on which specialized master also you would like to apply for. And this replaces any motivation letter, any cover letter, any statement letter, and it's really here to show your motivation, to show your goal for the future, etc., etc. So if you can already open your applicant's portal and get familiar with them. And finally, when you submit your application, you will have to pay 110 euros application fee to submit and finally submit your application. So once you've done that, submitting your application, you will receive your admissibility results. So that if you're admissible, then you will be invited for an interview with the jury. Now we can definitely also, if you have questions about that, talk about the interview. And at the end, you receive your admission results. So the whole process lasts from 4 to 6 weeks approximately. So it's important, as you may imagine, to have all documents ready beforehand. So when can you submit your application? We actually have 4 rounds per year, so 4 opportunities for you to submit your application. So the deadline for the first round, and maybe some of you are already in the process, in the application process. So the deadline is the 18th of October, so that's in a 1 week time. But you have 3 other rounds in January, March, and April. So the dates on the left side are the deadline. So you would need to submit by these dates to be able to be considered for the rounds. And you have the dates here of both the admissibility and the admission results. So you can start your application now. You can get familiar with what is required with the essay questions and submit it when you're ready. As I said, if you don't submit your application before a deadline, it will be basically automatically transferred to the next round. It's not on a rolling basis, which means that we start considering the application only after the deadline. So you can, submit before, way before the deadline or on the deadline. It will all be considered after this date. And finally, it's important to try to apply as soon as possible. If you already have your tests done, etc., your documents already, you've answered the essay questions. But if you don't feel ready, it's always better to wait for the next round. If you feel like your application would be strongest, if you want to retake a test, or if you want to gain some more experience in the meantime. So it's really up to you to gauge that. You have obviously 3 rounds from October to submit your application. So the CV is very important in the application, obviously, because this is one of the first documents that we will open, and it gives an overview of who you are, of your profile. So I'm just going to give you a few tips about the CV. So the CV must be 1 page. 1 page would be perfect if you really cannot and have had tens of experience. So it's fine if you do a 2nd page, but if you could try and stick to 1 page, that would be great. We will start with education. So in the education section, we really try to give as much information as we can. Obviously, we will give the name of your degree, but also maybe the most relevant modules you've had, maybe your GPA, maybe some thesis that you've written. So it's important to give this information, to give some context about your degree as well. Professional experience, so that includes internships. So here we differentiate internship from any other experiences, volunteering, extracurricular, etc. Those are different sections, but the 2 first sections must be education and professional experiences. Then you have volunteering, I said, awards, if you have won any awards, or if you have taken any certificates, for example, things like that. Extracurricular activities, very important, as I said earlier, to put that forward. Any of your skills, IT skills. So here we have a dedicated section for that. Languages as well. And don't forget your mother language, because often this is what happens. So don't forget to also mention your mother language. And finally, your interests, and don't hesitate to be precise about that. We talk a lot about how we will, strengthen your profile. And this is a lot about soft skills. So we also want to know who you are. And to be honest, I've already seen interviews where we take 10 minutes about, an interest, because that's important also, an important aspect also of who you are. So it's one page, try to be clear and concise and precise at the same time. That's an exercise for you. And also you can send it to me if you want to apply to maybe have a conversation. Now the interview, that's the third step, as I said, of the application process. So the interview happens online, and it's a half an hour conversation with a jury of 2 people. It's very important when I say conversation, because it's really a way, as I said earlier, to get to know you better. So, we will try to avoid reading questions or reading a presentation. You will really have a conversation with the jury. So you will start by introducing yourself, and then the jury will be asking you questions, and then you can also have questions ready for the end of the interview for the jury. So I'm not going to go through all the points here because I think they are quite obvious, but a point that is very important for me is try as much as you can to get as much information as you can. You have the website, you have also a platform to chat with current students. So this is on our website. So I really, really recommend you do that. You can also contact alumni via LinkedIn, for example. Basically, get as much information as you can on the program, on the career opportunities, on the values of the school, also the clubs, the association, anything to help you, be as much ready as you can in during the interview. And I can tell you that the jury really sees the difference. So I will maybe during the Q&A, paste the link to chat with students on our website so you can contact them as well. So finally, I wanted to also give you some information about the scholarship opportunities. So basically, we have the application process. So that's the first thing I wanted to tell you. In the application process, you're able, if that applies to you, to apply for a need-based scholarship if you wish. So we'll just have to fill in a form that is directly on the application process. But also we have a merit-based scholarship. For these scholarships, you don't have anything to do. It's basically you're automatically considered once you're admitted. So there's a jury for the scholarship that gives the decision 1 to 2 weeks after the admission. And we have 2 merit-based scholarships, that is the Excellence Scholarship and the Women's High Potential Scholarship. So once again, nothing to do here, just if you're admitted, you will get your answer 1 to 2 weeks after your admission results. So all of this is available on our website. That's very important also to look at local scholarships. So we listed some of them on our website, but if you go to online, you can definitely find also some local scholarship that applies to your nationality, for example. So that's it for me. I think I was quite on time. This is my contact details if you want to send me your questions, if you want to be in touch with me. So my name is Wasim once again, and I will be happy to take your questions now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wasim. Yes, that's a great presentation. I do learn a lot as well. If I'm younger, then I'll consider to study in your university. That's
Definitely.
a great, program, and looks like, a student will have lots of opportunity after even in the program and after the program, and have so many program or opportunity to study, even to talk to the alumni in the section or after the section or in the program. Yeah, we do have some question.
Great.
好，各位线上的好朋友们，如果您各位有任何问题的话，欢迎你打在这个 Q&A 里面。好，那我可以先来丢几个问题。我们这边也看到了有几个问题出来。Okay, Wasim, and first question. if the student doesn't have any working experiences related to the business, and if he or she only graduate from the French subject, and is the student suitable to apply the program from at HEC Paris?
Definitely, because I said earlier that all the backgrounds are eligible, but actually diversity of backgrounds are very valued. So if you come from social sciences or languages or arts background, that's also very valued, because the master in management then will be the best choice to have this first generalist year and to have these classes on marketing, accounting, etc., etc. And then you apply what you've learned before to the business area. As you might have seen, we don't have any bachelor at HEC. We actually have these masters that are made to be an add-on to your program, a boost to for your career.
Right, great. So would you recommend a student, if he or she is maybe on the sophomore or the third year of the university right now, would you consider recommend them to take some courses maybe related to business, or maybe get into doing some internship or part-time works, or maybe the outside the courses, and maybe get some experiences, and maybe they can put it on the CV or something? Would you recommend for that?
So it's an amazing question. Actually, when you are in front of a jury, they will, and I'm sure you know that, Diane, but they will evaluate your how relevant your profile is, basically how your plan is relevant. So you obviously go and get experience. I mean, don't wait for your school to tell you, okay, you have to do this internship. You can go for, there is no particular thing that you need to do to be a great profile, but you need to do what you like first of all, and what brings you experience. So if it's interesting and important for you to do even a 2 weeks internship, or just an observation internship, or to do a course online, or to pass a certificate, if you think it's going to help you for your future plan, then that's important. But is there any particular certificate or particular internship you need to do? No, my answer is no. It's really something that has to be out of motivation, comes from your motivation.
Okay, I'll just summary for that. 所以校代特别有讲到，就是如果你现在还在学的话，其实你就是就你自己未来想要专注的，或者是想要再提升你专业的部分，其实你现在就可以去不管是去拿一些线上的课程，或者是对你自己有兴趣的这个专业的领域，就可以来多参与一些不管是实习，或者是这种兼差，或者是甚至像志工。那就像校代讲的，你到时候在你的这个申请表上面，其实已经就可以先放上一些相关的资讯，然后等到面试的时候，可以再多来阐述你的这个专业，或者是你未来有兴趣的这个专业领域。好 ，OK， next question thank you. Next question, I'll combine together. What do you like the most about HEC Paris? And also, the student would like to know more about the career service at HEC. Is it friendly for students who are not from Europe?
So the first, what I like the most about HEC, so there are different things, so it will be difficult to summarize, but I think I really insisted, as you might have seen in the presentation, the international aspect. Even as a staff member, my colleagues come from everywhere. That's the first thing. So, you go out on the office to get a coffee and you hear all the languages and you learn so much about the students. Even when I meet students from Taiwan that I recruited, I learned so much about them. So that's really good. And also, the network is very important. So I do recruitment, for example, in the Middle East, and I was in Beirut 2 weeks ago, and I met with 3 students who were doing their gap year. These guys are actually traveling around the world, and their project is to interview graduate alumni network from all around the world. So they went to Japan, they went to Egypt, Lebanon, etc. And these guys were very committed, very involved, and they're going to do a massive presentation at the end of the year on campus. So this sort of things is something I really value and I really like about both the school and the students.
And also, what about the career service at
Yes, that was the second question. I was so passionate about the first one that I forgot the second one. So the Career Center is basically a whole team. It's a big team that is doing several things. First of all, be in touch with the companies, so they gather the job offers, the internship offers, etc., etc. The second is the organization of the events, the recruitment events. We have so many throughout the year. And finally, the accompaniment of students from everywhere. They accompany students, they coach them to do their CV, to prepare them for interviews. It's a really personal development program. So I really look at candidates, potential candidates for watching this presentation. The question is not if you're going to find a job, but what kind of job you're going to find. This is really what you need to ask yourself.
True, agree. Because I think the first one, the most I like about the HEC, I think because you mentioned about you have 70% of students are international students, and not to mention and you are focusing on the dual degree or the triple degree or something. So a student can very easily to travel or to join a student from other school or from other country. So I guess, yeah, this is definitely a trend, and also
this is an important point. And actually, if you allow me just to specify something that I forgot earlier in the presentation, is that so we talked about the management test, and I'm sure you have questions about that. Just to mention that there are two programs where the management test is not required, which is entrepreneurship and sustainability and social innovation. And for the marketing program is optional. But actually, if these programs, as I said, are made. So for example, if you are really want to work in investment banking and you know that you want to study international finance, you can definitely apply for this program. But if you are still considering different options, then it's good to go for the master in management, because this program will open many doors for you in your second year. And you just mentioned dual degrees. That's why I wanted to really specify this point as well.
Great. Okay. I guess we have some question are regarding the requirement. Are there any working experiences like years limited or required or age limited? Or if the student doesn't have the GMAT or GRE scores, does that mean they won't be able to accept by the university?
So for the eligibility criteria, so basically when you apply, you will need to look at the intake. So for example, if you apply now, this is for intake September 23. So your graduation year from your most recent degree must be maximum 2020. Not earlier than that. So that's what we look at in order to be eligible, because that's 3 years by the time you start the program and since you graduated from your most recent degree. Most recent degree, that can be a bachelor, but that can also be a master degree. You can have had a master degree and then decide to apply for one of our programs. So no age limit. No age limit, but I mentioned the average age because, obviously our students have, just graduated from their bachelor or their master degree or their engineering school, for example. And there was a last point that you mentioned, Diane. I'm not sure. I think I forgot.
The GMAT, GRE, yeah. And also the GPA, are there any requirements?
Yeah, so the GMAT is required. So when the program requires the GMAT, you need to take it. I know that it takes some effort prior to the application, but you really need to take it. The GMAT or GRE test will help the jury evaluate your quantitative skills. So it's very important to try to aim for the best score possible. GPA or management test, there is no minimum score required because, as I said, we have a holistic approach. So we look at all the aspects. Now, for the GMAT, the average we receive is 700, and for the GRE is 320. So if you have more than 700, that doesn't mean that you are guaranteed a seat in the program. And if you have less than 700, that doesn't mean that you will not be admitted. Because once again, it's the balance of all the aspects I showed you earlier that is considered by the jury.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. Okay, the student is asking if he or she graduated from the business bachelor, and would you recommend he or she still taking the, I guess is MIM, something
That,
management?
yeah, that
or
is
directly MBA would be more suitable.
So that's a really good question. So if you come from a business background, actually many students from business backgrounds apply for the master in management. So you can definitely apply for a master in management. And then actually what happens is that if you join a master in management, you're able to waive some of the courses that you have already taken in the past. So you can definitely do that if you come from a really business management background. And also, you can consider, if you know already what you would like to do in the future, you can also consider the specialized master also if you want to work in finance or in accounting or in marketing, etc. So that's a conversation you can have with me, definitely. Mm-hmm. And then the MBA programs, as I said, so these programs are made for those who have more than 3 years, so between 3 to 10 years of work experience. So these are for the profiles who have already worked and want to give a boost or switch to their career. But actually, if you're already in a dynamic of studying, so you should definitely apply for a master already and not wait for an MBA if you're already in a dynamic. But if you have opportunities to work already, well, go for it and then come back later. Or go, if you work 2 years, you can still apply for our programs as well.
Yeah, great. Okay, next question. The student is asking, what are the personality traits or style of leadership that your university is looking for?
So there are really good, important values here. So diversity, once again, I think I said that so many times. Curiosity, sustainability, ambition, all of these values that you will find in all the pages on our website. So really, if you want to get the mindset of the school, and maybe it's the best thing is to have a chat with our student really. So I don't know if you can share the link with the audience. I just pasted it on the chat section, but if you can chat with students, I think you will understand really quickly what is expected.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we share the link with everybody already.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the student is asking also for the internship or maybe gathering some working experiences before applying your university. As if the student doesn't have the internship or the relevant working experience, does that mean they couldn't apply? Does that mean they have to apply for the relevant or the similar courses subject that they maybe have the internship or the working experience?
Not necessarily. If you look at the program, let's take international finance, for example. We have students who come from engineering school or for pharma training. Do they have relevant background in your opinion? Well, actually they have, because all of these backgrounds are good, and actually if you come from particularly a scientific background, you will be very valued for a finance position. So no, you can apply, but it's important to have a conversation also with me, because I can also guide you best. Specialized masters tend to be more selective naturally, because there are less seats. So I can definitely help you, and you can have also 2 choices in your application. You will see that when you open your application portal, you can have 2 choices in order of preference when you apply. So that's also something that you can do.
Great. Yeah, I have a couple questions as well.
Yeah.
If the students study for the English talk courses, will they be able to have the opportunity to study French?
So yeah, in our program, so the Master in Management, you have French that is included. So it's not required to speak French, but you will have some credits that are for French language. And we have the Language Resource Center that is also here available to give you French courses, additional French courses. And it's always nice to speak a little bit of French, especially if you live in France. Now, obviously, the campus itself is an international environment, so you will be speaking English all the time. All the courses are in English, all the interactions are in English. But you have the opportunity to study French if you want.
Great, yeah, that's great, and because it's already in the middle of the Europe, and definitely have some French that would be so beautiful and also so useful as well.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, my last question is about if the students study on the campus or in the program, will there be any assistant or tutoring or maybe assistant help from the university to help the student to maybe guide them on like tutoring? Are there any tutoring opportunity?
Yes, between students, there are tutoring opportunities, obviously, and also this is an environment where you are also in small groups, so you have a really strong connection with the professors in the different programs, and that's a very important aspect. So we make sure that you are not more than 50 per class, and actually for the specialized masters, it's even less per class. So you really have a strong connection, and you get to work on many projects. So when you get to your specialization phase, you don't really have extensive hours of courses, but you actually get to work on these projects. And finally, the student service for the rest, because there is the courses, but there's also the rest, is here also to accompany. It's a huge team as well who are here to help you with the French paperwork, with anything that is related to accommodation, etc., etc. Don't worry, you're in good hands if you come.
Okay, great. Sounds a great package. So thanks again, Washington. 好，那各位，我们第一场的 HEC Paris 法国巴黎高商学院的这个说明会就到这里结束了。如果之后你跟还有任何的问题，欢迎你写信给我们校代，或者是您留下您的问题给我们，我们也可以帮您转给校代，让你可以继续的跟校代来保持联络。好，那大家稍作休息，我们请大家大概将近7点45分、50分之前回到我们现场，那我们就进行下一场 ESSCA 昂勒高等商学院的说明会。马上回来。Thanks again, Washington. So
thank you, and bonjour to my colleagues from HEC.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you later. Bye.